You're listening to the Love Over Addiction podcast. Hi, it's Michelle, and you're about to listen to a podcast that was pre-recorded, but today we are dealing with a pretty serious epidemic in our world, and I just wanted to let you guys know that we are still here for you and that the content that we're providing you might not be appropriate for where you are in or where you're at in your life right now. And so please don't take offense that we're still trying to help. If it's not appropriate for you, then just ignore us right now. Come back to us when it is appropriate. But we had a discussion as a company and decided collectively that this is difficult times, and a lot of people deal with stress with drinking. And so you might be living with an alcoholic who had recovered, but now is, back to drinking or using drugs. So you might need our help more than ever. So it would be negligent for us to just stop providing you with free and helpful tips. So we love you. We are here for you. And we hope you find this podcast helpful. Okay, so today I'm so excited because when I was writing this episode, I thought, this is going to be one of my favorites. We're going to learn one of the helpful ways you can love yourself while loving an alcoholic or substance abuser. So I met my first husband in high school, and at the time I was broken. I didn't have like a super traumatic childhood like some people, but I was definitely lacking love and attention and seeking approval from the wrong crowd. I also really, really cared about people. Their pain was my pain. Even if it was a conversation with a total stranger sitting next to me on a train. For that hour-long ride, I would listen, and my heart would hurt as they told me about their sister dying, or the woman who was a complete stranger I just met in the waiting room, telling me about her husband fighting a war in a foreign land. My heart hurt for them. And that's okay. Some people believe this would be a sign of codependency, and maybe it is, but it's nothing I would choose to change about myself. I love that God gave me the gift of empathy and compassion for others. Listening to someone who has the courage to be vulnerable with a total stranger is a privilege that should be honored. And my guess, sweet listener, is that you have that gift too. That before this disease took over your life, you were, and maybe still are, the kind of woman who feels other people's pain, who is willing to really listen. So how do we make sure this gift of compassion for others is not used in a harmful way? How do we listen and love without getting hurt? Our gift of compassion and empathy can sometimes harm us when we get confused and we think that healing will come from healing someone else. But it doesn't work like that, does it? Because what happens if they never heal? Or what happens if they do? We, the caretakers, are still left in the same empty and sometimes very lonely place we started because we neglect ourselves. We forget to cheer ourselves on. We use our greatest gift of empathy and compassion on everyone else but ourselves. We forget to love and cherish the woman that God made us. We excuse everyone else's mistakes and behavior but our own. So when our friends gain weight, we tell them they still look beautiful. But how often do we tell ourselves that we're beautiful? When other moms are upset that their children made a poor choice, how often do we assure them that they are doing a great job, but beat ourselves up when our kids make mistakes? We think our kids' bad choices reflect our bad parenting. So, do you see where I'm going with this? The problem can be when we love and encourage others, we forget to love and encourage ourselves. So, my sweet, wonderful listener, I am here to love and encourage you by reminding you that you are precious, you are beautiful, and you have gifts to offer. I am also here as someone who has been very guilty of this to remind you to be your biggest fan. Be kind and gentle with yourself. Choose to love and nurture you. You are not being prideful, and anyone that says that loving yourself is wrong isn't living with addiction. We know this disease can bring us down fast. Women who love alcoholics or substance abusers don't suffer from pride. We're the opposite. We suffer from never feeling good enough. So let's make a promise to each other. Let's sit in that waiting room or train ride, and before we give away our special gift of compassion, make sure we have given it to ourselves first. Are you being too hard on yourself? Are you beating yourself up for not being good enough? Please take a moment today to love yourself while loving an alcoholic.
This podcast is created for your support, encouragement, and entertainment with Michelle's personal thoughts and beliefs. From one woman to another, bonded together by the fact we love someone suffering from addiction. This is not intended as a substitute for therapy or advice from a professional.